Tense fighting and sporadic clashes continue to dominate the scene in Sudan, where civilians are still suffering from the outcomes of the severe security situation impacting their day-to-day life. Despite the international calls for ceasefire, tragic humanitarian situation prevails, with the death toll rising to more than 850 people, while thousands were reported injured.
People are leaving Khartoum because there's no food, no water, no electricity, and there is very high levels of insecurity. People are leaving. I was in a refugee reception center yesterday on the border where people have walked for 4, 5, 6 days from Khartoum. I met a woman, Rebecca. She'd left with 21 children.
More than 1 million people have been displaced by the fighting so far. Latest figures by the UN Refugee Agency include some 843,000 people displaced internally, and around 250,000 people fled across Sudan's border.
Many of those who have approached us are in a distressed state, having been exposed to violence or traumatic conditions in Sudan and having suffered arduous journeys. Many have also lost or been separated from their family and in need of urgent medical treatment.
The conflict also impacted children's lives. In fact, the UN Children's Agency reported 368,000 children have been forced from their homes, and a further 82,000 fled into neighboring states. It's estimated 190 children were killed in the first 10 days of the war, and 1,700 injured.
Children, of course, in Sudan are bearing the heaviest brunt of the hostilities. Before the conflict, children were already caught in a perfect storm of crisis on top of crisis. And what this conflict has done is that it has further aggravated the already ongoing health and nutrition crisis, the water scarcity crisis, and it's deepened the learning crisis.
Displacement has not been the only issue caused by the Sudan war. Reports have shown that more than half of the Sudanese population who did not succeed to make it out of the country is in severe need for humanitarian aid. Despite the fact that the warring sides agreed last week to a statement of principles on protecting civilians and allowing aid supplies, arrangements for humanitarian corridors and agreeing a truce are still being discussed, while several previous ceasefires have failed to stop the fighting.